Sometimes you will get kicked out of a black cab at the venue where the last show is, and that will be mediocre indie rappers moonlighting as bad poets. Failed actors turned blacksmith, showmanship and trapped plosives, so you can just call me when the coast is clear, and I'll read you what the map's showing. Because this disruption may affect your service, with zero apology factor for inconvenience that will cause to your journey, because it's all part of the learning. Purposeless and driven right over the edge of 1,000 maddened mornings and 100,000 vicious nights. Because all of us were trying to grow great trees from a little life. Johnny worked his notice, then skipped town on a fixie bike. That was several years ago. I thought I saw him last weekend by the flats, but that could have been anyone. In the circles we move in, pretty much everybody looks like that. Now, he used to say he thought the stock of stories would just run out when it seems like everyone in London's had a documentary made about them, but it wasn't like that. We forgot which citadel we were guarding. It ain't about reading between the lines. It's about what's hidden in the margins. Now, London is a glass half full kind of city, and that's what we've come to love. But for some of us, that cup is full of wine, and for others of us, full of blood. And the warm weather never lasts more than a couple weeks at a time, but I was more of a winter guy anyway, so that suited me just fine. Cheek by jowl, patchwork quilt, chessboard, call it what you like. The point is that we live and die at the mercy of a swelling tide. And in the blink of an eye, your summer sun becomes an ice-ringed autumn moon. I always stay too long, he said. She said, you always leave too soon. Backspins to wine-soaked heady sequence with embellishment of cost. Now, it had been quite a heavy weekend, but I could just about remember what I'd lost. A former child prodigy, desperate to be the author of his love, but he'd sell the largest of his dreams to buy the smallest bump of drugs. Doesn't know where his next meal's at, but still he's cooking raw, and that's gotta make you wonder exactly what it is he's looking for. See, all of this was woods once, where hunters run in packs. Now, if you know how to catch a buzz and kill it, then that's the other swag. We learnt our craft. Damn, that summer was a drag. Smiled on some we've all been there buddy shit. But some of us ain't coming back. Dalston was a trap. The culture pushed out north and east to Clapton in a warehouse flat, and the squats that once were ran as social centres and headquarters were soon acquired for development and traded no rent for running water, and that's all a contradiction. There's razor wire around the Olympic Park. There are yuppie apartments where the ships embarked, and there are children there with broken hearts. A serial killer in those wedge heels we all had heard were in that season. Lost track of bodies she'd left bleeding, and lost track of what had been the reason. And her last dance partner asked if she would ever settle down. I haven't seen him since, and I'm not sure if he's living now. I told Tem down at the Brick Lounge to rack us up another round. We all signed that late licence petition they had, but that strategy was never sound, and the topography of Old Street roundabout apparently renders it the windiest in town. I always meant to ask you how you knew that, but the moment's never found. And we've got armed police in our train stations now, and other awful trends. And this goes out to all my friends. Because honestly, it's next year or it's never. Or it's next year or the next year, or it's next year or it's never. Living hand to mouth by choice because the medicine was better. Whether the profit motive or the weather, we needed something keeping us together. No more time for heroes. R.I.P. Camden, slow at the junction, born 100 years too late, or soon, or under the wrong mode of production. All of my associates were poets, revolutionists and painters, visionaries and creators, and lost sheep, looking for a saviour. basic cable, catalogue the analogue with cattle prods. What were we all doing here, and where had all our travels gone? And you told me over drinks that it was time for growing up. And I said, I don't think I could ever love anyone more than I love you right now. And I knew that still would not have been enough.